Okay folks, this is video 4. When we left off, I was telling you about this book. I know the video's backwards. I don't know how to fix that right now, so we'll just have to deal with it. It's called Animal Spirit Guides by Stephen Farmer, PhD. And so what I did was, with my journey, I looked up all these animals, and the intriguing thing is, essentially, I can read you the report I started writing. I'll share this with you. Okay. Let's see. Don't need to share it all with you, but just the gist of it is that dragonfly is adaptability and remembering to be, lighthearted, keep a joyful heart while you're going through troubling times, that kind of thing. And also ability to, or not ability, but it says when you see the spirit animal, allow yourself to open up to the magic of nature and the elements. And that's actually a quote from a great website that deals with this type of stuff. Elena Harris appears to be the author, and the website is spiritanimal.info, and then you just type in what animal you're looking for. So this is the article on dragonfly, and also that's in touch with fairyland. Now the other one is hummingbird, and hummingbird is a really similar thing. It's a really similar message. It says hummingbird represents joy, playfulness, and adaptability to life's challenges. So in other words, being aware, like knowing that even though this looks, whatever it is, looks challenging and unsurmountable, that you'll be able to do it the same way that the hummingbird can travel thousands of miles, even though it seems like it shouldn't have the energy or the ability to do it. So you can accomplish the impossible, the seemingly impossible. That's basically what hummingbird is saying. Now here's the part I want to read to you what I wrote. Because snowy owl, that's what appeared to me. It was a white owl. It wasn't a red owl, and it wasn't a barn owl. It was a white owl. And it says, and again, this is from Spirit Animal Info, or spiritanimal.info. It says, owl represents the capacity to see through masks and deceit, wisdom, seeing what most do not. Actually, this is what I wrote about it. And change or transitions, including symbolic death. And and then it goes on to say, and this is what spiritanimal.info says. It says the owl spirit animal is emblematic of a deep connection with wisdom and intuitive knowledge. If you have the owl as totem or power animal, you're likely to have the ability to see what's usually hidden to most. When the spirit of the animal guides you, you can... There's an error in the copy of the page. So that's her error, not mine. I'm trying to figure out what it means. You can the true reality and see beyond illusion and deceit. The owl also offers for those who have it a personal totem. Excuse me. The inspiration and guidance necessary to deeply explore the unknown and the magic of life. Well, that's definitely me, because I've always been into deeply exploring the unknown and the magic of life. I mean, in fact, my dad told me that, I thought he told me that God didn't exist, but maybe he just told me that Christianity was bullshit and religion was wrong and the Bible was a lie. Anyway, that incident was when I was 10. And it was around that same time. You know what? I moved in with my dad when I was 12, so it seems like it might have been when I was 12. Strange how time blurs experience. Where was I? Yes, that's where I was. So Dad told me religion wasn't real, and around the same time as when I was on my own seeking out books about spirituality and supernatural and occult topics. And basically the main things, the main sources that were my first few occult, spiritual, New Age knowledge things were Time Life books on mysteries of the unexplained, and the other thing were these books by this author Daniel Cohen, and he had books on werewolves and vampires, but they were like history. They were like what do you want to call it? They were nonfiction, and they were talking about how they were given like actual recipes that people who wanted to turn themselves into werewolves supposedly would use, at the stroke of midnight, and the different implements and such that they would use. And I learned about a lot of the history, the actual history, the people who were actually tried and convicted of witchcraft and vampirism, and people suspected, like Gerald Gardner, suspected of being a werewolf in the 1600s in France, I think. I learned all that when I was 10. And then, so it would make more sense that when I was 12, Dad told me that Dad basically kind of confirmed something I already suspected but didn't have words for yet. That the Bible wasn't real and God wasn't real and whatever. Right? We're talking about my mindset at the time. So, what was that? That was just to explain to you, I've been into this shit for years. So it's like it's part of my calling. And when I saw that that's what owl means, and owl has appeared to me twice already, the owl has always been with me. The owl guided me from the beginning, but I think I've just been ignoring owl, even though she's been trying to talk to me, prior, many times probably, prior to my recent conversion within the last 3 years to a proactive spiritual path. In other words, now that my mind is aware of that these things exist, it is open to the possibility of, I'm able to hear. Let those who have the ears to hear listen. So here's like kind of my personal analysis that I wrote, my epiphany on what the spirit animal was trying to tell me. So on the snowy owl, I have recently come to realize that owl has always been a power animal of mine, just one I never really paid much attention to. So she either went away or just stayed in the background until recently. When I was 10 years old, I read a fascinating book about the meaning of symbols from classical Greek and Roman mythology, which I wish I knew what that book was, because I would get it. I would order it off of the internet, the way I do those Isaac Asimov books that aren't in publication, from somebody who has a used copy, because it was such a good book. Anyway, classical mythology and how these symbols were used in advertising to trigger subconscious responses from the public. I learned that owl was an ancient symbol of wisdom. Let's see. Bear in mind, this is when I was like 14. I think this was 9th grade. I read the Iliad and the Odyssey. Is that right? Yeah. I read the Iliad and the Odyssey on my own just because I liked the books. Man, it was amazing. Obviously not in the original Greek epic poem form, but in a written translation, prose. So, as I was saying, I learned that owl was an ancient symbol of wisdom and was a companion of the goddess Athena, whose domain was wisdom of war. But from my perspective, I never really believed in spirit animals, except as a romantic notion I wish were true. Involved with like totem animals, as in the totem pole, which I only had a vague understanding of, like most quote-unquote white Americans. And not only that, I felt that Owl was really the nerd of the bunch. In other words, Owl was not really cool, not something an adolescent boy would want to put on a biker jacket per se. In my eyes, so I ignored her. It seemed that Owl's meaning and stature had been diluted over time by advertising and logos and women's brooches, like Owl was a sellout or something. Needless to say, this is the first time I was aware that Owl was trying to get my attention since I proactively embraced my spiritual path 3 years ago. There are many reasons why Owl may be showing up for me. She may be telling me to be on the lookout for wolves in sheep's clothing, those who would claim to be one thing, but to be entirely the opposite. She may be telling me that what appears on the surface like my mom is unwilling to heal herself, in actuality is that a spirit entity or perhaps the medication she was taking was warping her state of mind, and that things weren't quite as they appeared. Okay, and that's where I left off, and it's been 12 minutes, so that's where I'm going to leave off for this video. And by the way, if you see this is I've got, I just took a piece of Kleenex and put it in my ear to dry them out. It works really good. Right after I take a bath, obviously. I took a bath. My hair's all nice and shiny because of the olive oil that I put in it yesterday to clean out Vaseline and the olive oil, because the Vaseline was used, we were making paper mache masks, so we used Vaseline. I had no idea how hard it would be to get that out of my hair, but man, it was tough. And the best solution that I was able to find was coat your hair in olive oil, then put dish soap on your hair and wash it 3 or 4 times. So I did that, and it still got olive oil in my hair. I mean, I've washed it probably 20 times since yesterday. Being aware, being like, this isn't making my hair damaged and brittle, is it? Nope, because it's still got olive oil in it. So olive oil is good, but next time you wash Vaseline out of your hair, maybe just coat it with just enough, and don't do like the other guy says and liberally cover your whole hair. I mean, cover your whole hair, but once you've got a coat on there, it's probably going to be good. You probably don't need to make it thick or anything. Alright, so we're going to end this video here, and we'll continue in the next one.